Yeah, just before we went to the break, he used the word Jekyll and Hyde. So I'll just ask him to explain. What did you mean by when you said Jekyll and Hyde attitude?
See, on the one side, politicians want to play great visionaries. They want to do all the good parts to society.
So they're well-meaning.
They're well-meaning. They want FIs to come in. They want people to invest very heavily in this country. They want the country to grow. They want GDP to grow. They want all these things to happen.
Okay.
On the other side, they spend money. They're very profligate. They just waste money in lakhs of crores, which would otherwise actually taken care of even these investment requirements.
Okay. So it's just like wasting money on debt schemes or senseless stuff, is it?
Correct. And those monies are all borrowed monies. The monies that don't exist in their earnings. The government doesn't earn the money they spend.
So just borrowing
they borrow and spend.
So when the time comes to pay back, you're going broke.
Correct. The problem is that they are borrowing this money from the domestic savers.
Okay.
Okay, the people who go and put the money in the PPF, the post office, wherever, or even in
long
banks.
term.
Yeah, this money is lent to the government, right? So the government's borrowing keeps on expanding. Now assume that the government did not borrow in excess. This money would have been available in the financial system for investment for the future.
Okay.
Now there's no money to invest because the government borrows all the money. Most of the savings of the country.
That's getting consumed in some way or the other without any good returns on it.
No, it goes to the government and the government doles it out. And that money is in turn consumed by the people by
and
spending.
That doesn't generate any.
And that creates only inflation, nothing else.
Okay. So just like the administrative service, the IAS has its own training institute in Mussoorie where they go and attend that and they learn the basics of administration. Is there anything like that in the country where politicians are told how does the whole system work, or is it just they learn as they grow up in the system?
But there have been some instances of some state chief ministers taking the interest to have a kind of a retreat where they bring in experts to train. I have also seen at the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, they were offering some training to netas, and there were people who are coming in.
Shouldn't they make it mandatory?
It should be, because they don't have the basic understanding of economics.
Yeah.
They just want to spend something like, they live like kings actually. So you can't run a democracy like that.
I don't know whether that is true, whether they live like kings. I think they just live like ignorant people. I mean, they feel that the bounty which is coming in from the land will keep on coming in without any effort to put anything back into the system. So an average politician rises through the ranks. He wouldn't have gone and learnt anything or got a degree to qualify. So he's joined the politics at some very low age and he has no opportunity to learn. So, and then they become the netas as they go along. So what will they be able to tell? So I guess that's where the problem is.
No, possibly. See, they don't understand basics of economics. You can spend what you earn. If you are going to spend something which you do not earn, you would have to earn it soon enough to repay.
So what is this thing where people say, hey, don't worry, the government just starts the press and starts printing out notes. Is that a workable system?
Government can print out notes, but you have to pay because the inflation will immediately hit you. It will hit the poorest guy. Governments which print notes actually end up hurting the poor more than the rich. This is the fact. America, it didn't happen because America has been able to manage its interest rates low. But always let me tell you that when you artificially kept the interest rates low despite printing money, when it comes back it will be like a tsunami. You can't control it. Look at the Indian inflation. We managed to, keep on printing. We are introducing more and more liquidity into the system for these 2-3 years.
Okay.
And look at the spiral effect which you're seeing.
But how does it instantly get known by let's say a small trader, that the government is printing notes and now I can afford to hike up the cost of how do they know?
He won't realize what is happening.
Yeah,
Even now the trader won't have realized.
Yeah.
What happens is that the demand keeps on going up.
Demand for goods?
For all products.
Okay.
Because you are putting money in the hands of the people.
All right.
Indiscriminately.
Okay.
So when you keep on putting money in the hands of people which they have not earned, their tendency to spend is very high.
Okay.
Suppose you earn.
So isn't that good for the country? You grow more, you produce more, so you supply more.
Then who will save and who will invest?
Okay.
The savings rate of this country has been declining.
And that is strange because we are
because people don't value earnings.
Oh, okay. It's this free handouts that are destroying
It's a cultural thing. More and more, I'll tell you, because of the kind of money that has been thrown into rural India, where nothing has been created.
It's just cash going in.
It's cash doles. That money goes immediately gets spent. When it gets spent in products which are manufactured adequately, there won't be inflation.
Okay.
Let's say it goes into products which are not manufactured adequately,
okay,
then you will have a heavy inflation there. Wherever there's a demand supply.
Okay.
Okay, like for example, you will see it in eggs.
Mm.
You will see it in chickens. You will see it in things which are really
actually
enormous.
being bought.
Yeah, actually being bought.
Okay. Now, when we see this constantly going up, and including things like alcohol, which is again a huge business, I know I'm not sure if it's a directive principle in our constitution to stop or introduce prohibition. I don't know where the angle on that is, but holding that down seems to again generate another industry. So if you prevent people from doing what they want, they will still do it. If you don't prevent them, they ruin the country. So where is the government move?
See, the problem has been that alcohol has become the largest source of income for several state governments.
Yes.
Okay, it's so huge that you have a corporation which has 25,000 crore revenue growing at a clip of 20-25% every year. The most profitable business for government has become vending alcohol.
Okay.
Okay, that is the fact of life.
Okay.
Which means that most of the rural savings and most of the earnings of people who are middle class and lower is actually going towards alcohol.
So it goes to the manufacturer of the alcohol.
It goes back to the government.
Okay.
The government, what is happening today is the government gets so much money, 20,000 crores or 25,000 crores of profit from alcohol.
Yeah.
And it uses that money to give free rice, free laptops. Nothing is free. In fact, I think the liver of the drunkard is basically producing the laptop.
Oh, so you ruin him and therefore you give him a laptop.
This is not welfare actually.
Okay.
This is not at all welfare. This is not a model that should be pursued. In my opinion, it's not going to make the lives of the people who you need to bring forward.
Like this Rega, whatever this new one, isn't that an extremely good idea that we pay them some money to keep them alive and at the same time we develop infrastructure in the country?
See, look at MNREGA. What has happened?
Yes.
It came at a time when agricultural growth was slow. They never thought about how to create better agricultural growth, whether there were enough labor for agriculture.
Okay.
After bringing in MNREGA, labor which would otherwise go to do agricultural work felt it is better to go to MNREGA because here without doing any work they are giving you 100 rupees.
No, but it's not for free. You have to lay roads, you got to build bunds, you got to do, there are a lot of things that they give them.
It's not roads, they just supposed to dig canals and do a few things here and there.
Yeah,
but none
it's
of
infrastructure development basically. That's
See, when you invest 40,000 crores, you should be able to measure what the government has got out of this investment in terms of the assets that were cleaned up or spruced up.
Yeah.
There's no calculation.
Okay.
There's no audit. Government cannot tell you what it has got out of these 40,000 crores. Were they able to source so many lakh liters of water? Did they harvest it? Was that meant to use to irrigate so many fields? There's no metric there.
Okay. So that's one fault.
It's just money being thrown into the hands of people. That's all.
Okay. So when I come back to the third part, the last bit is, he said that the rate of savings in our country is really dropping. And we are a country that believed in thrift. We never wasted a single plastic dabba, we keep it at home. Your mothers would have done all that. Now from that, we are now buying plastic Ganeshas from China. So when we come back, we'll talk about what's the need for all these kind of things.